All right. Hello, everybody. So a little bit of an update here. So with the exception of one exam that was incorrectly submitted, all the tests have been graded, and you should have access to your score through Canvas. So if you go back to where you submitted the exam, you should be able to see your score. Now, I have... on some of the problems, I wrote notes if I thought I could kind of point you in the right direction. Some of them, I was not able to leave good notes because there wasn't enough to work with. Either way, the actual tests that I graded that would have some notes on them will be returned to you either Monday or Tuesday of this week. I will try to get them returned on Monday, but I teach a lot of the day Monday, so I'm not sure I'll be able to do that. And this whole uploading process takes forever. So I will work on that. I can definitely get it done Tuesday if I can't get it done Monday. So look for your actual, your test to be returned either Monday or Tuesday for you. Okay, so now some of you did very well on the exam, and that's great. Give yourself a pat on the back and take a deep breath. Great job. Some of you did not do as well on the exam as I'm sure you would have liked to. That's okay. Basically, what you have is the opportunity to retake this exam. I want to make this clear because I want to make sure everyone has the right information as they make this decision. If you choose to retake the exam, then your retake score replaces the original score. Okay, so those of you who did well and you got a grade that you can kind of live with, I recommend that you don't retake it because it's very easy to miss a couple things, then all of a sudden you do worse, right? Those of you who did poorly on the exam and you feel like you should have done better or you need to do better in order to be successful in the class, then of course it's kind of a no-brainer. You should retake the exam, okay? I'll go through the steps in just a moment of how to do that, but I want to make sure you understand the retake score, whether it's higher, lower, the same, replaces the original score. Okay, so you want to make sure you study for it. Now, I almost always see people get at least the grade they got before or higher, assuming they studied for it. Right? If you go back and study for the exam and you spend some time getting ready for the retake, then you should do better on it. Usually when people do worse, most of the time that's just like they didn't really put in any additional studying, and then that score ends up being lower. So I don't want to discourage anyone from taking the retake. I just want to make sure everyone understands how this works. So if you're a student who's planning to do the studying and put in that work, then you definitely retake the test because you probably will do at least as good as you did before or better. So it's whether or not you're able to put in that work in order to get ready for the retake. The retake will be very similar to the exam you just took. Very similar problems. So you can kind of use the practice test, use the test that you took as sort of a starting off point for your studying. I highly encourage you go to the tutoring center and get help if that's a possibility for you. They have very flexible hours. You can find it easily on the website by just, go up here. This is the front page of the website. Just go up to tutoring center. I forget if it's called tutor center or tutoring center. Oops. Sorry, I clicked a button there. Tutoring. Click that. And here they have information. You can see they have very flexible hours, 8 a.m. to 15 p.m. Monday through Thursday. They also have Friday and Sunday hours even. I can tell you, my students who go to the tutoring center get the highest grades in the class. It's a highly effective way to study. What I'm hearing is this semester the tutoring center is being underused in relation to pre-COVID years, which means that you get much more attention from the tutors a lot faster. That's what I'm hearing from my students. So, if you have a couple hours, maybe even a few times in a week where you can just go plant yourself in that tutoring center and get help, I highly recommend that you do that. Okay, that is a highly effective way to learn how to do some of the problems on this test that you're struggling with or that you don't know how to do. There's also my office hours that you're welcome to come to. I do try to have a Zoom appointment open during my office hours. Sometimes I'm not able to because the Wi-Fi drops or, sometimes there's technical issues. But most of the time I have that Zoom open and you're welcome to drop in, especially if you make an appointment with me, then I can make sure that I have everything all ready to go for our Zoom appointment and then we can talk about it. So that's always an option as well. And then the students that I find do the best on the retakes are the ones that make a plan. right? Not just, oh, well, I'm gonna show up and retake it. Like, make a specific plan. Like, today I'm gonna work on problems 2 and 3, and then on Tuesday I'm gonna go to the tutoring center and I'm gonna get help on problems 7 and 9, and then on Thursday I'm gonna go to Dr. Frederick's office hours. And I guess I don't have office hours on Thursday, but it's a hypothetical, right? You see where I'm going. Oh, on this day, I see when Dr. Frederick's office hours are. I'm going to show up to his office hours and ask him this question, and like plan out how you're going to get everything done for your test, and then plan out when you're going to retake that test. Those are the students that I see make the biggest improvement from the original test to the second test. So basically, it's just having good study skills, right? Sitting down, being organized, having a plan, figuring out what you're going to do. You're going to be so much more successful than just trying to make it up as you go. So what you need to do, let's go back to the original Ventura College front page here. So up here in this magnifying glass, I'm now going to look up Testing Center. And it's the first thing that pops up right here, Testing Center / proctoring. When we look at it, this is what it looks like. This building is kind of a small, unassuming building, easy to miss. It's on that little tiny parking lot that's on Loma Vista. So it's not the huge parking lot over by the gym. It's the smaller parking lot kind of by the welding and automotive buildings. So anyways, you'll see this building when you go in there. So that's where it's located. It's also easy to find on the Ventura College map, but it's off of Loma Vista. So if you're just walking along Loma Vista, you should see this thing, or driving or whatever. They do have their hours available. So 8 to 4 Monday, 9 to 5:30 Tuesday, 11 to 7:30 Wednesday, 8:30 to 5 on Thursday. So you can see this if you go to the website. So I will tell you ahead of time, a valid photo ID is required to test. They need like a legitimate photo ID. Driver's license, state issued ID card, as long as it has a photo. If you have your VC ID card, which many students do not, but if you have that, that works. So you just need some kind of photo ID so they know it's you who's showing up, right? Because they're not familiar with who's in the class. They have to match. They have to make sure that you're actually the person that you say you are. So they do check photo ID when you get there. So make sure that you have that. If you show up without your photo ID, you're not taking the test. So make sure that you do that. And then also you have to make an appointment. You cannot just show up and take the test whenever you want. So you see what their hours are right here, right? So you pick in there when you want to take that. Now I've given until November 17th. That's the last day that you can take the retake. Okay, I encourage you to not take it right away. You should give yourself some time to actually go back and learn that material. Students who take the retake too soon end up getting the same score because they haven't really given themselves time to learn all the new stuff that they're supposed to go through and learn. So I encourage you to, maybe not even take it in the first week, maybe wait till that second week to take it. I do know sometimes, like, maybe don't make it for that last Thursday. The 17th is a Thursday. If you set it for that date and then your car doesn't start or something happens, now all of a sudden you didn't get to do the retake. So I kind of recommend try to do the retake early in week 2. And by doing that, hopefully you can... Hopefully that kind of works in that like Goldilocks zone where it's long enough that you've had a chance to retake, but you're not taking it at the last minute where if something goes wrong, then all of a sudden you're out of luck and you're stuck with your original score. We're getting near the end of the semester. I can't really extend the date past that, so just make sure you have it taken by that date, okay? So if that means you have to plan it for Wednesday, and then if something goes through, you try to make an appointment for the next day or something, that's kind of a smart way to do it. So make sure you set up an appointment. Make sure you have a photo ID ready to go. Make sure you have a plan about how you're going to do your studying in order to get a better score this time around. Okay. I will wait to grade the retakes until I have all of them. It's really hard to grade consistently if I don't grade all of the tests at once. I found that in the past. So generally what I do now is I wait until the testing window is closed and then I grade them all. That's another reason I can't extend the testing date window. right? So, obviously as a test grader, I have to be consistent with how I'm grading everyone's tests, and I can really only do that if I sit down in one sitting and grade all the tests at the same time. So even if you take the test on the earlier side, I won't have your test for you until after the 17th, when I collect them all, grade them all, and then you can find out your score. Okay, so that's your steps. Sometimes you have to call and email them a few different times, so just keep trying, right? We're trying to work with the testing center right now. The math department is actually trying to work with the testing center because they don't have a lot of resources over there. And so sometimes it's right, like right now, the sign-up process can be a little bit frustrating to students, where you call and then no one answers, or you email and you don't hear back. So my advice to you is keep trying, right? Maybe try to contact them once a day until you get through. And if you have to, you could always show up at these times and set up an appointment that way in person. Like I say, behind the scenes, we're working on hopefully getting better software for that department so that they can run a little bit smoother, because we use it a lot in our department. But right now, they don't have a lot of the tools that they need over there. So try to be patient, work with them. Don't be afraid to call them. Don't be afraid to email them. Like, if they haven't gotten back to you by the next day, these days, they only work these days, Monday through Thursday. But like if you tried to get a hold of them Monday and you haven't heard anything back, then try to get a hold of them Tuesday. If you haven't heard anything, try to get a hold of them Wednesday. So just keep doing that until you're able to get your appointment set up. Okay. Yeah, and that's basically how this is going to go. So make sure, if you're planning to do the retake, make sure you get it done by the deadline. Make sure you have your photo ID ready to go. Make sure that, and that you've studied and you're prepared to get a better score than you did the first time around. Tutoring center, office hours, although the tutoring center is really great. I highly encourage you to use that tutoring center. And that's basically the process. This is totally optional. If you're happy with your grade, don't take the retake, right? This is just an option to you.